So one of the frameworks that we're talking about is users leading. And it's a challenge because it's a paradox for leadership between leading and following. And you have to do both in order to attain leadership. So that paradox means that both in the meaning and the application, how you lead and how you follow makes a difference. We know for some of our patrons that tradition is paramount. I'm going to bring my materials in. You're going to check them in for me, you as the librarian, and you as the librarian are going to check them out for me. And when I come up and ask you for a reference question, you're going to take me to the shelves and help me find those materials. And whatever I need online, I'm going to ask that you find that for me and share it. Is that pretty accurate in the traditional sense of the word? I miss anything? They might use the drive-up window on a good day. Their good day. Those things matter. Traditions matter. Traditions change. And we know it's a fact that the majority of the people want us to make it convenient, make it efficient, and give it to them where they are. And that, in many ways, has nothing to do with them physically being in our facilities. That has everything to do with our ability to connect with them electronically. So we have to lead that traditional change, but we have to also honor and follow the traditions that people still want us to retain. I don't know, it's easy to think of that intellectually. It's much harder to apply that when we're not only having the demands of people that want us to move in the new directions, but have the demands of people that want us to stay with their traditions. So that leadership effect of ours is critical to how we transition the community forward. And it's critical not only in a social context, it's critical in an economic context. In this information age, content is the king. And how people use it and access it makes a difference to our community.
Part of that leadership comes about through teaching ourselves, teaching others. You may have heard us, particularly in the last several months, talk about our CPL as a teaching organization, a teaching library. That comes about in a number of ways. One of those is through our orientation teammates. This, since we implemented it about a year and a half ago, this has been the #1 positive aspect mentioned of the entire orientation process across the board. It really pairs the established employee with the new employees, gives them a one-on-one relationship. There's relationship building, there's assistance for identifying the pathways of information we have here, and it's been a real success in guiding that instruction as people come into the library. We also provide educational support, and this is through the auspices of the Friends of the Library, for people who are involved in getting their MLS, for example, or if they're taking other classwork that relates to their position at the library, they can apply for educational reimbursement. It's not a complete educational funding, but it's educational support and reimbursement, and the Friends have been generous in providing that for a number of years. Okay. We also teach through those resources that we provide online, and some of that is content we aggregate, some of it is content we generate, but the DUSA Wiki is an example of that. This is something that is impacting the entire Black Hills region. And information about the DUSL and the underground lab has been fragmented, perhaps, in the past. We've compiled that and consolidated it in one location so that we can instruct people that this is the place to go and you can get a great overview of what's happening in layman's terms. This is not for the scientists, this is for the average member of the public. And an extension then is our knowledge network. This is a fabulous resource that is still in development. It's going to get better as it goes along, but it gives citizens the opportunity to become more involved and informed citizens about issues that are going on in the community, whether it's historic preservation or wildlife or what may be happening in the community. There's also employment and economic information, how to find a job, where the job opportunities are, what's the economy forecast like for the Black Hills area in the coming years. And then the community archives, the community archives, that historical connection that we have with our community. The Flood Wiki is a good example of that. It may have happened only a few years ago in some of our minds, but to others it's history, and it is an important part of our history to retain. And so making that and other information available online is, again, a consolidating factor to develop community, even though it's in an online format. And then in order to inform the public about these resources, whether it's our social networking, databases, other programs and services we provide the drop-in programming as one method of doing that. And that's been a spontaneous in the lobby, one-on-one contact with people, and it's been a real positive and informational way to get the information to the patrons.
Just in talking about teaching, one of the things that I continue to read and see, and you've heard this statement before, but the most difficult information that a citizen has in finding access to is local. Research not only proves that, but it's becoming more and more apparent. It is the local information that is the most difficult, and we have the position and the responsibility to do something about that. Reinventing environments, there isn't a question about that. Some of you may have seen in my MSN chat that I have the statement, reinvention is the key to longevity. And we're in the business of knowing what reinvention is about, certainly because of technology. Whether we bring that about through our new ILS and RFID, and I apologize for the acronyms, our operating system, which is a major change for us. We took the initiative, the board supported that, the council has provided for the resources. That's a major change, not only internally but externally for the public in a positive as well as an economic comparison. We're on track to have online payments so that people can, when they have fines and fees, that those things can be done transactionally on a virtual basis. So there are things that we bring on as change. There's also many things that happen to us because of that. We also have a great opportunity with the new branch that's being planned for out at WDT with the green and the environmentally friendly. That's going to be a big deal for the city. And the reason for that is because it's a very public and visible facility that will be intentionally talked about, discussed, and shared in the process of having environmentally friendly facilities as well as services. I think the outcome of that will help to launch more initiatives within the city in the same regard. And the other part that is equally important is the liaisons and our support through the Friends and the Foundation. We couldn't be the type of leadership institutions that we are without those two entities that help us with enhancements that go beyond the tax dollars. And that's what makes a key difference in reinvention, is to be able to do more than just the status quo or the norm.